Have you ever wondered what you really know about your sleep? Well, one afternoon in Stanford's class, Dement Sleep and Dreams, a student was sleeping through lecture. This is Stanny. Stanny was sleeping during class, but maybe this could still be a learning opportunity. As they slept, many of the important things they had learned in lecture throughout the quarter started manifesting as different, strange dreams.
Stanny arrives at their Chem 31A midterm only having slept 2 hours the morning of due to pulling an all-nighter and consuming large quantities of caffeine to support their cramming session. Stanny is finding it difficult to concentrate on simple tasks like finding their assigned testing seat. Other students, like Becky and Ricky, have both mentally and physically prepared themselves for this exam and have arrived full of energy. Sleep deprivation is prevalent among university students, affecting their academic performance and daytime functioning. Students who are sleep deprived have trouble remembering anything they have studied just 12 hours before, proving that cramming just before an exam is essentially useless if you have not gotten your full sleep requirement. Stanny feels slow and weak and proceeds to ask themselves, I don't know why I feel tired. My friends told me that your body can get used to getting less sleep if you train it to do so, and at our age, we only need 5 hours of sleep anyways. Stanny imagines the professor say, after a few nights of insufficient sleep, you're likely to feel sleepier during the day. This increase in daytime drowsiness may stabilize over weeks or months without enough sleep, but this doesn't mean that your body is functioning on all cylinders or is effectively adjusting to sleep loss. The National Sleep Foundation states that adults should get between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. You should be getting more sleep, Stanny, the professor yells in Stanny's lucid imagination. Stanley, still feeling disoriented and confused at what they are hearing, blinks frantically to refocus on what they are seeing and hearing. Stanley partially reclaims their vision by rubbing their eyes and can now clearly hear the professor say, We will now be beginning the exam. Your time starts now. As soon as the professor exits the classroom, Stanley loses the battle with sleep and begins to fall in and out of sleep, attempting to stay awake with blinks, but eventually gives in. Stanny dreams about clocks and is asked by a mysterious figure if they have disturbed their circadian clock. Stanny asks, What is a circadian clock? A circadian clock is a biological clock that controls the timing of several activities and functions of your body, including when you go to sleep and wake up. Repeating 24-hour cycles are called the circadian rhythm. Light signals vary throughout the day, which is why your circadian rhythm typically coincides with the sun's cycle. At night, your suprachiasmatic nucleus receives signals that it's dark and late in the day. This causes it to send the message to the brain that it's time to release melatonin, which makes you sleepy. The opposite occurs during the daytime because light signals suppress melatonin production. Circadian rhythm disturbances occur when the sleep-wake cycle is not properly aligned with your environment and interferes with daily activities. Frequent all-nighters can be detrimental to the sleep cycle. This can explain why Stanny is feeling sleepy at inappropriate times. Sleep is not uniform. Instead, over the course of the night, your total sleep is made up of several rounds of the sleep cycle, which is composed of 4 individual stages. In a typical night, a person goes through 4 to 6 sleep cycles. Not all sleep cycles are the same length, but on average they last about 90 minutes each. Stage 1 consists of a dozing off stage, which normally lasts 1 to 5 minutes. It's easy to wake someone up during this stage. Stage 2, the body enters a more subdued state, including a drop in temperature, relaxed muscles, and slowed breathing and heart rate. This can last up to 10 to 25 minutes. Stage 3 is deep sleep. It's harder to wake someone up during this stage. We spend most of our time in deep sleep during the first half of the night. Stage 4 is REM sleep, is where the brain activity picks up nearing levels seen when you're awake. Under normal circumstances, you don't enter a REM sleep stage until you've been asleep for about 90 minutes. Stanny has missed out on a full night of REM sleep by pulling an all-nighter and only sleeping 2 hours the morning of the exam. Since REM is essential to cognitive functions like memory, learning, and creativity, Stanny will struggle with retaining any information he attempted to take in the night before. Stanny frantically awakens to find out that there are 10 minutes of exam time left. Stanny manages to get formulas in the sheet, but is unsuccessful at completing the exam, walking out of the exam hall even more drowsy and distraught. 2 days later, exam scores are posted on Canvas, and Stanny has failed their Chem 31A midterm. Stanny clicks on instructor comments, and to their surprise, it says, Drowsiness is red alert. Next time, Stanny will not fall into common misconceptions regarding minimal sleep being enough sleep, and plans to create a study plan to protect their circadian sleep rhythm from being disturbed again.
Sleep is essential for our well being. It is difficult to go through everyday tasks with bad or lacking sleep. Sometimes bad sleep patterns can manifest as sleep disorders. You could have a sleep disorder if you struggle with unrefreshed sleep, excessive daytime sleepiness, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, unusual or violent behavior during sleep, snoring, or motor restlessness in the evening. Stanny has not been sleeping very well. They are on a long road trip on a long open road. As Stanny's eyes keep almost closing behind the wheel, these thoughts go through their head. I haven't slept in 2 days, and I wish I could sleep. Stanny is beginning to wonder, do I have insomnia? Insomnia is one of the most common sleep disorders. A simple definition of insomnia is either trouble falling asleep or staying asleep to the point that a person perceives it bothers them the next day. In large population surveys, chronic insomniacs report car accidents twice as often as individuals who do not have insomnia. Insomnia can be detrimental to our health. Insomnia has been found to be associated with decreased quality of life and productivity, and also with illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and coronary heart disease. There are many tools that psychologists use to treat insomnia. There are pills widely referred to as hypnotics, as well as other tools such as cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT rests on the idea that although there is a biological need for sleep, sleep is a learned behavior. Therefore, we can retrain the brain towards sleep. Some tools used in CBT are sleep restriction and stimulus control, which work to increase sleep efficiency and associate the bedroom and bedtime with a place of sleep. Stanny has now been driving for many hours. The clock says it is 5 a.m. Stanny drove through the night. If Stanny has insomnia, they should make sure they are safe behind the wheel. Otherwise, they could get in a car crash.
Stanny became a pilot and was scheduled to fly a passenger plane. The day before their flight, Stanny felt tired due to lack of sleep, so they decided to make up for it by taking a long nap. However, a good night's sleep cannot be substituted by napping. The quality of Stanny's sleep was lower, and the sleep was not aligned with the body's circadian rhythm. Stanny felt energized and did a lot of fun activities during the day. The night before Stanny's flight, they tried to sleep early but could not fall asleep. What should I do? They thought. I'll stay in bed. Stanny was unaware that it's important to associate bed with sleep. Lying in bed for long achieves exactly the opposite and links the bed with a feeling of frustration. Experts advise to get up after 20 minutes and do a relaxing activity until feeling of sleepiness. The more time passed, the more frustrated Stanny became, and it felt even harder to fall asleep. Soon our character decided that maybe he would help his body fall asleep faster by drinking a cocktail. And they indeed fell asleep. During the next day, Stanny boarded the plane and prepared for takeoff. They were excited to fly, but felt tired and sleepy. Drinking alcohol the night before significantly declined their sleep quality. Unfortunately, there was no time for a nap, so Stanny proceeded with flying the plane. At the third hour, Stanny had dozed off. It is important to recognize sleep misconceptions. Drinking alcohol before sleep, laying in bed for long, having a warm bedroom do not help for better sleep and only decrease the sleep quality.
Recently, Stanny has been working at a nuclear power plant. Work at the power plant has been keeping our Stanny busy, and they have not been able to get enough sleep. The difference between the quantity of sleep our body needs to function at its best and the quantity of sleep we actually get is known as sleep debt. Sleep debt is cumulative, meaning it can add up very quickly if we chronically undersleep. As a result of both sleep deprivation and sleep fragmentation from fever, stress, obstructive sleep apnea, and alcohol consumption, Stanny has been experiencing a range of parasomnias. Parasomnias constitute a group of sleep disorders that involve abnormal and sometimes even dangerous physical behaviors that occur during sleep. Just last week, for example, Stanny experienced several episodes of sleep terrors, in which they would seemingly awake suddenly with a bone-chilling scream. One night, Stanny even got out of bed with their eyes wide open and started walking around the house. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism, can be extremely dangerous, as sleepwalkers are unaware of their surroundings and are thus susceptible to injuring themselves or others. Both sleep terrors and sleepwalking are examples of arousal parasomnias. They occur during partial arousal out of non-REM sleep, specifically slow-wave sleep, usually in the first third of the night. Those who experience arousal parasomnias are often non-responsive to external stimuli, and usually do not remember the parasomnia episode upon waking. Stanny's doctor recommended that they catch up on lost sleep, but Stanny did not listen, and things only got more out of control. One night, they were so tired that they fell asleep in their office at the nuclear power plant. Unfortunately, this night also marked the onset of Stanny's rapid eye movement sleep behavior disorder, a parasomnia involving dream enacting behavior. Usually, changes in brain signaling during REM sleep lead to reduced muscle activity in the body. This is referred to as REM sleep muscle atonia. But in individuals with RBD, the nerve pathways in the brain that are supposed to paralyze the muscles sometimes fail to do so. This is what happened to Stanny on this night, and as a result, Stanny began acting out their dream. By some twisted stroke of fate, Stanny dreamt that they were standing in front of an enticing red button labeled Push Me. Naturally, Stanny's dream self couldn't resist pushing the button and seeing what would happen. Back in real life, Stanny, still dreaming, reached out their hand to push the nuclear activator button. This triggered a nuclear meltdown that was felt across the nation. Stanny, who was at the epicenter of this nuclear disaster, died before they could awake from their dream and realize what they had done. Stanny's life burned bright but brief, but we hope that their death was not in vain. So, the next time you decide to skip out and sleep, we hope you will look to Stanny's story as a reminder of the vital importance of sleep to leading a full and healthy life. The end.